Hi, this is Marty with Skincare Science, and welcome back for another video. In this video, what I'm going to talk about is an email that I received from a client regarding dermaplaning. And the question basically is, what products would I use within the Serene line as it relates to another product line that specializes in, I guess, oils or products that are specifically made for dermaplaning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut off the camera, and right over here I'm going to write some notes about the email. On this particular email, I'm not going to read it word for word. There's no reason to. So I'll have all the notes here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off the camera, and let's get started. Hi, welcome back. And as you can see, I have put the notes up, and I'll go ahead and read them to you. And so we've got the Dermaplane oils, and the three that were mentioned were the jojoba, the argan, and the fatty acids. The interesting one is the fatty acids, and I'd like just to make a point. The fatty acids alone and in combination with say, for example, ceramides and other ingredients, is actually a great intercellular space, rejuvenating. This ingredient here, it fights transepidermal water loss. So I'd like to touch on that just for a second. When you cleanse your skin with surfactant or soap, and then you, after the surfactants in the cleanser will create transepidermal water loss. When you apply fatty acids and ceramides to the topically to the skin, it actually helps with barrier function and reduces transepidermal water loss. So that right off the bat is always a good ingredient to include in any product. So that's good. As far as the jojoba and the argan, that's just a matter of opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to relate all of this, and I'm going to draw the skin here, and I'm going to relate what's being said to the skin, and then I'm going to go ahead and discuss some of the products within the Serene line that you would want to use. And again, whatever skincare line you're using, if you agree with everything in this video, you can find the ingredients that you're currently, that based off of what I'm saying, you can find in your own skincare line. So again, this information isn't just about Serene, but obviously, well, you get the point. All right, so let's talk about what was said. Okay, so the claim or the question with regards to the, from the skincare professional was, what specifically would I use in the Serene line, because I'm aware of a company that produces products specifically for dermaplaning, and they include oils. These three were the ones that were mentioned in the email. So they work kind of like a pre-wax oil would to protect skin that is not ready to come off. So basically what they're saying is that the oil is a barrier to the dermaplaning procedure and skin types that might be more sensitive to the procedure, and the oils topically applied will help protect the skin from that procedure, from that blade running across the skin. So what I'd like to do first is I would like to take this very, very quickly back to waxing. So I'm going to draw this real quick. So let's go ahead and draw this. There's the top of the SC. And here's the epidermis, and way down here is the dermis. Again, it's not the size at all. But the dermis is a lot thicker, and then we've got the epidermis and the stratum corneum. So that's pretty much the way that it goes. All right, so pre-wax oil, or when you're going to do strip wax, this applies directly to that, and then we need to come back to dermaplaning. All right, when you apply, let's draw the hairs. There we go, like that. Oh, the hairs go deeper. So again, this is never to scale. This is only to give representation. All right. So when you are waxing the skin and you only want to pull the hairs, obviously, you are going to put down an oil or a talc powder. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a barrier on top of the skin. Okay, so as the wax is applied, it's not hitting the skin. So when you remove the pink layer or the wax, the skin is being occluded by the oils. The wax in a physics, we always have to go back to physics, right? So think of this as the hair, right? And representing that. So we have the root in the skin and we have the oil. The oil comes in here, coats the hair, or the talc powder coats the hair. The wax needs to be, in physics, stronger than the slip of the oil that's now on the hair and stronger than the grip or the follicle. So if the hair is long enough, the wax will grip and pull it out. Well, that makes perfect sense because we don't want the skin, we only want the hair. And if we create layer number 1, which is the oil, layer number 2 is the wax, we won't touch the skin. Sensitive skin types and all skin types are going to benefit from that procedure. But here's the thing, we're using a blade and not 1 or 2 layers of anything. So we're not layering anything like a cake. So let's go ahead and look at that, leave that there, and let's go ahead and draw the blade. Just so we don't forget, okay, what that is. All right. We're done with the example of pre-wax oil to protect the skin that is not ready to come off. Okay. When you are dermaplaning, you are running the razor, just like shaving, over the top of the skin. And you are, based on pressure and based on sharpness of the blade, you are removing the stratum corneum. The word that is used, slurry, whatever you want to call it, dead skin cells, collection of dead cells, whatever, that buildup in front of the blade is the exfoliation process. When I run a safety razor or straight razor down my face, I am exfoliating. The difference between slurry and not slurry is the pressure that I'm using, or the pressure of the esthetician is using on the client to collect enough skin cells so that you can see it. Would you agree that if I put a straight razor on my face, or a safety razor, or any shaving mechanism, for that matter, that I'm exfoliating, that some skin cells are coming off? Well, you can't see them because they're so small, but when you collect enough of them, they become visible. The oil that is applied, if you look at this example here, the blade is coming into the skin. The blade is going to run at the oil level, below the oil level, and it's going to take it with it and become a part of that slurry. So I do not understand that is not ready to come off. If I run a razor across the skin, how is the skin going to be able to fight the razor? Because that's what that is saying. Not ready to come off. How is the oil helping the stratum corneum fight against the razor? The pressure applied of the razor on the skin, the sharpness of the razor. Because remember, with the waxing, you're dealing with the hair follicle that's coming out through the skin, through the stratum corneum, through the oil. And as long as the wax is hot enough and sticky enough, or stickier more than the slip of the oil, it will pull that hair. The wax will go around the hair, it will harden, and through the quick force, it will remove it. So if the adhesion of the wax on the hair is stronger than the slip of the oil on the hair follicle and stronger than the follicle itself holding that hair in place, the wax is going to win. If the slip is greater than the adhesion of the wax or the bulb of the hair follicle, the hair will win and it will stay in. Physics, it's that simple. So they work kind of like a pre-wax oil that would protect the skin that is not ready to come off as it relates to sensitive skin types. Well, again, if that razor is coming across the skin, how what mechanism is the skin using with regards to the exfoliation process going to be able to fight the blade? And how would the oil sitting on top of the skin give you that protection when, as you can see right here, you're going to use that blade and the oil is going to act like shaving cream? Now, here's one good thing I can say about oil, and I've used oil to shave my face, is that there are many ways to dermaplane, meaning you can shave the face, meaning come clean, cheek to jawline, and not see any slurry, or you can come at the skin like this, because I've seen it like this, and what that's going to create is it's going to create a situation where it's going to be slide, lift of the razor, come back to the skin, slide, lift, and come back. So what's actually happening is you're going to create these uneven exfoliation like valleys with the blade, because you can't see it. I mean, it's impossible to get it even, right? So I'm not necessarily sure how the oil is going to provide or do this. Again, I don't want to repeat myself again, but I'm confused by this. The blade is going to remove everything in front of it. And if you're worried about the sensitive skin underneath the oil, that means that the blade would not touch the skin, because dermaplaning is blade on skin. So whatever oil's there is either going to A, be absorbed into the skin, or B, taken off with the blade. And when you run that razor across the skin, it's going to exfoliate. It's going to take it. It's going to take it all. So I hope that makes sense as it relates to the way the skin functions and the physics of it. And when I say as the skin functions, I mean it's going to get cut. It's going to stay there. There's nothing for the skin cannot defend itself against a metal blade with human pressure designed to scrape or cut the skin. The skin cannot defend itself. It's going to separate. It's going to get cut. It's going to open up. It's going to get shaven. It's going to exfoliate. And that's just the way that it is. I mean, obviously that makes perfect sense. All right. So the one thing I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the products that I would use for this procedure that are within the Serene line that I believe will accomplish this. And again, is this a bad idea? It's not a bad idea. It's just that when it's added to this information here, well, you heard what I have to say, and this is exactly what was in the email. These are the 3 ingredients, and we're talking about dermaplaning oils, and you make that decision for yourself. Again, there's no right or wrong. There's obviously a lot of opinion, but when I speak about things, if I can't relate it to the way the skin functions and works, and especially dealing like with physics of nature, it's going to be difficult for me to wrap my head around it. So let's go ahead and turn the camera off, clean this up a little bit, and I'll talk about the products within the Serene line that I recommend and that I would definitely recommend for this procedure. So let's do that now. Welcome back, and as you can see, I cleaned things up a little bit, and then I also drew a little picture of a blowout of a section of the stratum corneum. The pink area is the intercellular space, and the blue area are the corneocytes. All right. So as you can see here, you can see where the oil would be. The oil would be sitting on top of there, but again, we've already discussed that. So right now we're going to go over some of the products, and I'll write them right there, right in the middle of the epidermis, and I'll explain why I would use them. So the first one I would use is hyaluronic acid serum. Okay, so let's write this right here. Okay, and the reason why I would use that is because immediately when you put it on the skin, it's going to absorb. And you're already touching the blade to the skin. So this is providing only one function, slip. So I want something that is going to benefit the skin, and I know that it is. I don't know what these two and how they benefit the skin. I know that they're fine oils. I know that they're popular. I know that they're nice and great, but the fatty acids is really the only one that I know as I run the blade across the skin and I don't take out all the stratum corneum, the fatty acids left behind that gets absorbed into the skin are going to fight and help with transepidermal water loss. I know hyaluronic acid is going to provide slip and also be a hydrating product. And well, this product speaks for itself. The second thing that I might consider is this. Hyaluronic acid with skin recovery. Okay, now this is a 50-50 mix, and what you might want to consider is when you mix two products together, the end result is a different slip, is a different texture and feel. So you might not want to do this for all your clients, and again, I really recommend that you try it. And also too, think about using skin recovery serum alone on parts of the face. I mean, there really is no right or wrong. And I know a lot of times estheticians will say, well, just, tell me what to do. I don't want to guess. I don't want to think for myself. I just want you to tell me what to do. All right. Well, if you're looking at the Fitzpatrick scale and you're going to dermaplane Fitzpatrick 1, 2, or 3 on the small scale, and it's not like chemical acids where you have to pay attention to the Fitzpatrick scale so much, this is what I'm going to say. Do not experience slurry. You do not want to see that exfoliation. You don't want to see dead skin cells. You do not want to see dead skin cells in front of the blade. I would use hyaluronic acid serum and I would go over the skin, and then I would apply, not seeing anything, very lightly, and then I would apply skin recovery serum and go over the skin as well again. All these products are doing is they're absorbing into the skin and creating slip. That's it. I've done all of these on my face. As it relates to education and advisement to other estheticians, I've repeated this before. If an esthetician does not come back to me and say that did not work, or I didn't like that, I'm assuming that there was some measure of success and or they ended up not doing it and doing what they wanted to do because they disagreed with me. Either way is fine. And again, in the comments of this video or contact us through Skincare Science, if you disagree with this or want me to discuss even further about this, I can and will. Give me a direct question, but it's pretty self-explanatory. The dermaplaning procedure requires slip. Otherwise, it could drag against the skin, the blade could get caught on the skin, and that is where the skin could roll up under the blade and you could have an accident. Obviously, we don't want that. There's another one that might work out very well, and that is AHA3 combined with HA post peel. I'm going to abbreviate this. Neutralizer. All right. Within the skincare industry, a disincrustation product, normally, from what I've researched, and I don't have one in the line because you can mix these two products and create it. The sodium bicarbonate and the surfactant and the glycolic acid at 3%, and if you go with a 50-50, obviously your overall glycolic acid is going to be a lot less. And the pH of this product, if combined in a bowl and you froth it up and you lay it on the skin and you leave it for like a minute or so, and then you very gradually run the dermaplaning tool across the skin. You want to be careful for sensitive skin types because the surfactant, the pH level, and the glycolic acid is going to be not a sensitive skin type favorite product. And you can imagine that. So you want to dilute more, the more sensitive the skin, you want to dilute more with maybe add water or more post-peel neutralizer. I'm 50-50 with this. And if you want it thicker, obviously less neutralizer. If you want it thinner, do 50-50 and then add water or more neutralizer. Making products like this is a trial and error. You try it on skin that you really know. And then once you get comfortable with that, you can go to skin types that you don't know so well and always go sensitive. Now, what will happen when you use this is, okay, and by the way, how the skin functions with regards to these two are going to sit on the skin, create slip, and absorb into the skin. As the blade comes across the skin, it's going to open up the skin, and these are going to get absorbed quicker and deeper into the skin. With regards to AHA3 facial cleanser and the post-peel neutralizer, when you put this on the skin, the second it sits on the skin and you leave it, remember, glycolic acid is time dependent. So it's immediately going to start to work on the intercellular space. Theoretically, now it's not instantaneous, but theoretically, the glycolic acid and the surfactant is going to start working immediately on the intercellular space. The theoretical word is describing the potential and the possibility that when you run the blade across, it's going to be able to do that easier. It's the same thing as a disincrustation would be with extractions. It's the same philosophy. Now, again, you're not going to be dermaplaning someone with acneic skin. You're going to go around that or not even touch them at all, and especially if it's sensitive skin type. So this, as it relates to how the skin functions, is about creating is about disrupting the skin barrier. You want that so that the razor, less pressure, can come across the skin and do its job better. Let this product do the work for you, run the blade across. Can you see any of this happening? You cannot. What you need to pay attention to, what you need to think about is what's going on with these products, what are the active ingredients, what's the pH, what are they doing on their own, what is post-peel neutralizer on its own, what is AHA3 facial cleanser, what is hyaluronic acid, what is skin recovery serum. When you understand what those active ingredients are, what they are built to do, then you understand the skin, understand corneocytes, understand the intercellular space, and think about what the blade is going to do as it runs across the skin. Okay. The last one, and again, there are many, but the last one I want to do is this, and this one will probably shock you the most. Healing facial mask. All right. This one's tricky. All right. If you've never used healing facial mask before, wipe your hand, put some on or on your face, put it on, and then wipe it off. What I want you to pay attention to is if you can feel the typography of the skin. Then put the healing facial mask on, wipe it off, then touch it. Can you feel the softness? Basically what is happening is, and I'm going to go ahead and draw skin right here, okay, right like that. Basically when you apply healing facial mask, so you can see it, it goes on, and here's the key point, it goes into the crevices. So when you wipe it off, your finger is now feeling the residue of the healing mask that was left on the skin. Think about the blade. If the blade is right there and you use the healing facial mask as your slip and you're not seeing any slurry and it's more like a slip, like a shaving cream, and trust me, it will act like it. I've done it. And you don't want it to dry, so and healing mask will not dry. If you put air on it or leave it long enough, eventually the moisture is going to evaporate and it's going to dry. But it takes a really long time, if ever. It wasn't built to dry. All right. So if you put it on thicker than normal, okay, not the green Hulk mask thing. I mean, just a little bit more than you normally would, and then you run the blade across. You're not going to see the slurry, but you're going to shave the skin. The clay healing mask is perfect for sensitive skin types, and it's going to occlude the skin even though the healing mask was removed by the blade and then wiped off with a moist or whatever your post-procedure is, whatever you do after you dermaplane. And again, that's probably specific to each esthetician or how you were taught, but you are going to leave the healing mask, meaning when you run the blade across, the healing mask is going to collect in front of it, and the healing mask, like shaving, will give you guidelines of where you haven't been. And then what you can do is you'll have residue healing mask. Leave it on the skin. Wipe it in there. Because what that's going to do is it's going to create, like say for example, you eradicated those now are gone. You can push that healing mask down into those crevices, and what? Well, with the reservoir function of the skin, it's going to bind, it's going to occlude, it's going to help heal, it's going to help cover and protect, it's going to help keep moisture in, at least for the next 12 to 24 hours if the person doesn't wash their face. And if I'm clear on dermaplaning, you're not doing very much afterward anyway, and you're certainly not going in the sun because now your skin has no protection. Again, I did a dermaplaning series, so you can please check that out. But this is pretty much it. There are 4 different options that you can do, and they relate to how the skin functions. I'm not talking about the removal of hair at all. The dermaplaning tool will do that. That's really pretty much it. That's all I got. All right. Well, again, thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, and again, if you disagree with this, I'd love to hear about it, because then I'm better by answering it and by hearing why. So don't be afraid to tell me that I'm wrong. I really enjoy when I am told that. Then I can either prove back or I'm going to learn. Thank you very much for watching. This is Marty with Skincare Science, and we'll see you in the next video.